What's going on, guys? My name is Craft Games and welcome back to another episode here today on the channel. Doing something a bit different today. I have decided to do a minor revamp of the bronze review and turn it into what you see before you. This is the Art of Bronze. It's going to share most of the similarities to the bronze review videos. I just decided to mostly change up the title. That's about it. All this is really changing is just I'm going to be talking about every hero for Overwatch instead of just whatever the new hero is, as well as some stuff as to like what ideal hero advantages and disadvantages are when it comes to playing said hero or playing against said hero. Keep in mind, this is all coming from a person who is perpetually just stuck in bronze hell, so don't take this all seriously. My word is not law. Trust me, if it was, this first character we're talking about today would not be the first character I'm talking about. That is for sure. But enough about that. Today is the first episode of this new style, and we're talking about Widowmaker. Rather, one of the most infamous heroes in Overwatch, especially in modern times. So yeah, let's just dive into that, shall we? Widowmaker is a 200 HP damage roll character, meaning she has the damage roll passive, which reduces all healing to enemies by 25%, or half of that when it comes to tanks. Her primary is the Widow's Kiss. In its standard form, it is a hit scan weapon that deals up to 13 damage per hit, fires at 10 rounds a second, has 35 ammo, and only needs 1.5 seconds to reload. The max fall-off range for this weapon is 40 meters, which reduces the damage down all the way to 3.9 damage per hit. True power of Widow, though, is when she decides to aim down sights with the Widow's Kiss. Then it becomes a very deadly sniper rifle. Widowmaker's sniper has a power meter, meaning so long as she is actively holding the charge button, it will charge the rifle from a minimum of 0% power to a maximum of 100%. At 0% power, the rifle does 12 damage for a body shot. Not all that much. At 100% full power, this damage goes all the way up to 120 damage for a body shot, with that damage going roughly to about half when it's at her max range, or max fall-off distance. Widowmaker also has a devastating headshot multiplier, which when combined with the max 120 damage, deals a total of 300 damage for a single headshot, being able to kill anything that is not a tank or bastion. It consumes 5 ammo per shot, regardless of charge, and it keeps the same 35 ammo as her hip-fire variant, and keeps the same reload time as well. Only difference is the 1 second charge up, and that small bit of time in between shots where she is not allowed to charge, which is about half a second or so. While she is aiming down sights, she has a movement speed penalty of 65%, meaning that she is quite slower, so if you are able to get her from the sides, or attack her from the sides, you will be able to get the jump on her most of the time. Now let's move on to Widowmaker's abilities. Her first ability is the grappling hook. This has a 12-second cooldown and is a movement-based ability. It allows her to snag onto a object. This could be a wall, a breakable object, or something like Lifeweaver's Tree of Life or his battle platform. and allows her to move towards that object. It has a max distance of 20 meters, and she moves at 20 meters per second towards whatever she grabs onto. Second ability is the Venom Mine. The Venom Mine is a trap that Widowmaker can deploy somewhere. It can grapple onto any wall, so you can just slap it on the ceiling in a small area and it will go off if someone gets close to it. And it deals 15 damage per second for the next 5 seconds for a max of 75 damage. Any enemy that is caught in the poison after the mine's detonated, Widowmaker has full coverage on them. She is able to see them and ping her allies to let them know where said enemy is. This is helpful when it comes to trying to find someone hiding in the back line, picking off supports, or just handy to have if you ever get compromised and there's only one way in or out of your area. You can drop a mine as you flee to try and deal some chip damage to the enemy, and then maybe it'll alert your team as to what is going on. Widowmaker's Venom Mine is on a 15-second cooldown, and its lifespan is rather interesting. It will pretty much stay permanently on the field until one of 3 conditions are met. It is either replaced by Widowmaker, it is destroyed by an enemy's projectiles, or its detection. If someone enters its detection radius, and it activates its poison. A couple of minor things to note here at the tail end of this mini section of the Venom Mine, that due to the fact it is a projectile-based ability, there are various things that can block the mine. Some examples being Diva's Defense Matrix, Sigma's Kinetic Grasp, Orisa's Javelin Spin, and most dangerously of all, Genji's Deflect. Specifically Deflect because it will allow it, the Venom Mine will become Genji's Venom Mine after that fact. So always be mindful if you are fighting a Genji and you decide to try to throw your Venom Mine, because they might be able to just immediately pop Reflect and just make it better instead. We're on to Widow's Ultimate, the Infrasight. It costs a total of 1,550 points to trigger. Takes a little bit over half a second for her to cast. Lasts for 15 seconds, and it affects the entire map. What it does specifically is it allows Widowmaker's entire team to obtain wall hacks for 15 seconds. They're able to see any enemy from anywhere on the map during this time. They will be shown in a red outline unless you have the team colors changed. Then it'll show the color of whatever the enemy team is for your team settings. Widowmaker's Infrasight can be interrupted. You can kill Widowmaker, which will stop Infrasight. You can interrupt it during the half-second casting time, but it's very precise and it requires a hero with some sort of stun-based crowd control ability. So it's just very hard to do in general. Outside of that, there is no real way of stopping Infrasight once it is active. And it's a case of you can't really hide anywhere, so might as well just be extremely mindful of wherever Widowmaker is on the map. Now, let's get on to the meat and potatoes of this video. The actual Widowmaker matchups and map environments she enjoys playing. As you can see from the high skill gameplay in the background, I am what you might call a Widowmaker god. For those of y'all who are about to leave a comment saying that I suck at Widowmaker, no, this is sarcasm. This portion of the video is mostly just going to be about various map environments that she's good at, and what heroes you have to be wary of when it comes to the Widowmaker matchup. Let's start off with the support, because there's not really that much that threatens Widowmaker in that regard. Like, there's always the stray bullet from, say, Zenyatta or Kiriko, which can deal a lot of damage to Widowmaker's rather small health pool of 200. But unless they get a headshot on you, you don't have to worry. Just be sure to duck in behind cover for a little bit and wait, and you should be able to just passive heal back to full and then get back out there. Only real support you should quote-unquote worry about are Lucio players, just because people see various influencers like Frogger and just say, oh, Lucio's good at countering Widow, let's use this to counter Widow. And it's just a case of, while he is occasionally an effective counter, Lucio's issue is that he is so loud that most Widow players, if they have like a proper headset, will be able to detect you before you can get the jump on them. Now then, on to the actual quote-unquote counters for Widowmaker that are always scary to fight. Let's start with the tanks, because tanks have a couple of heroes that are rather scary matchups for Widowmaker just because of how they are. I'm mainly talking about heroes like Doomfist and D.Va. High mobility dive tanks that can get up to her hiding spots really fast, and their large health pool means you won't be able to effectively take them out before they absolutely roll her. Couple other tanks that she has to worry about when she's on the field are Sigma, albeit most of the time Widowmakers will not play in a range where Sigma's ideal. If a Sigma is able to catch her in a close quarters area, his projectiles will be able to shred through her health pretty fast. Very tank for her just because of how he plays is Roadhog. Roadhog's hook has the same max distance as well as grapple, so if that big man is able to calculate his hook correctly and snag a Widow that's corner poking from behind him, you are effectively dead, because Roadhog's hook combos are notoriously deadly and have been the pain for a while due to the sheer amount of people begging for the one-shot capabilities of the hook to go away. And lastly, we're on to DPS. When it comes to DPS, which are the most characters you will be having to face as Widow, it's a case of knowing the battlefield. You've got your dive heroes like Venture and Genji, who are both able to just get on top of you very fast, and Venture's ability of gaining shields anytime they use one of their abilities, and Genji's deflect make it so that in a close quarters area they rank superior to you. Another hero that you always should be mindful of is enemy Widow. While Widow mirrors are rare to see in the bronze scene for me, I have seen it happen a couple of times, and it's always a case of they either just constantly trade with each other and do not affect the match, which is normally the better outcome, or one absolutely diffs the other, which means they have more time to focus on the enemy team. I am normally on said enemy team. Another character I will mention in this section is Sombra. While yes, Sombra was effectively butchered beyond belief with the Sombra rework, that's getting a video at some point on my channel. I know that for a fact. That's going to be a bronze review video. She is still able to sneak up behind Widowmakers rather effectively, and if they land hack, you are essentially dead due to the fact you do not have access to your mobility, and you have no access to your mine unless you already had it pre-planted. So you are effectively just going to get mowed down from the high burst damage that Sombra can effectively cause with a well-timed hack virus setup. The other two sniper characters in the game, I'm saying sniper in air quotes for this, Hanzo and Ash, you don't have to worry about as much. Ash doesn't have the damage output of Widowmaker unless she is being pumped by a Mercy's damage boost. And Hanzo's arrows have such a harsh fall off to them after they reach a certain range that most of the time you don't have to worry about getting one shot by one of his arrows to the head. Let's get on to the maps now. Widowmaker excels at maps with really long lines of sight, giving her the optimal ability to play within her range, which is about 50 to 70 meters. Maps like Circuit Royale or Watch Point Gibraltar are maps that come to mind in this regard, because there are several good spots for Widowmakers to hide and just start poking people off. Most maps that she is ideal on are the long payload maps, such as, like I mentioned before already, Gibraltar or Circuit Royale. I almost forgot the name of it and I just mentioned it. But she can also be used on a handful of the maps for other game modes. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a good sightline on Hanaoka that allows her to just reach into enemy spawn from a certain angle. Maps she really sucks at, though, are maps that have a lot of closed quarters environments, lots of places that have cover, which makes it hard for her to play around, which they try to do with Junkertown. They reworked that map a little so Point 1 isn't as much of a Widowmaker haven, but at the same time it made it more so harder for attacking Widows to get value more so than the defending Widows. Defending Widows have a lot more places to hide now, more so than the attack Widow. Widow on offense normally just has like that upper area in their spawn, because when you're playing Widow, you would like to just try and stay on the high ground. Most of the control point maps are places you do not want to play as Widow. The only one I can think of is that one Lijiang Tower map, where you have the upper balcony there that sort of looks over the entire map. That's like the one good spot I know Widowmakers will occasionally play. That's about it, really. And that's all I can really think of in terms of like personal experience having to deal with Widowmakers. There could be other stuff I'm just missing, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't play this character. Like, for this video, instead of doing what I normally do, which is playing competitive matches to get footage for stuff, this is all being done in quick play because I absolutely suck at this character. I didn't want to just be I don't want to get banned for quote-unquote throwing the game, because I'm just trying to play a character I don't play much, you know? But yeah, that's all I can really think of. Let's just segue into the closing commentary now before I run out of stuff to say. And this is pretty much where the video is going to end. Some comments I could make are like stuff like I did with the bronze review stuff, is like, ooh, like one change I'd give to the hero and whatnot. But it's like, when it comes to such a volatile hero such as Widowmaker, it's a case of delicate balance. Like, one thing I could always say that would improve the hero, which can be said for most sniper character or sniper-based characters, is give them reverse damage fall off. Meaning that the closer you are to them, the less damage their full power shot would do to you. But at the same time, that just makes it even harder when you're fighting them at their max range, so that you are just getting boned. Like, that's the thing that I know certain people do, is they know the max range of a Widow, so they will constantly hide in that max range so that she is unable to kill them. Changing the playstyle so that, say, her damage ramp up starts at 50 instead of the damage fall off starting at 50, and its max ramp is at 70. It changes such core interactions for characters that a lot more, I don't know what that was, a lot more dive-based heroes that aren't as effective at getting close to her, such as Sojourn, Pharah, Echo, they'll be able to dive her more effectively and just shred through her. Which is again, the reverse damage off is a good way to potentially handle Widowmaker, but at the same time, it's a case of cause and effect. Because who's to say that getting rid of Widow by changing the way her damage works by making it reverse damage off, who's to say that does not spark another rise in someone like Pharah, where it's a case of there was not really a good hit scan hero at the time that's capable of taking care of her, so she ends up just being a constant menace on the battlefield for a while. Technically, Widowmaker right now has that same sort of effect. When the Sombra quote-unquote changes happened, they just call it a few small changes when it was effectively an entire rework. Widowmaker became so much more common because Sombra was like the ideal counter to Widowmaker due to the fact that she had the pure stealth. It wasn't tied to her translocator like it is now. But I digress. At this point, unless with all the season 15 and so on changes coming in the latter months of the year, because I'm recording this pretty much the day of the Overwatch Spotlight, and I already seen that. I know all the stuff that was shown off in that. With all of those potential changes coming to Overwatch within a few months, who's to say like new balance change is just gonna effectively rip her to shreds, allowing for a new meta to rise for a hero like Hanzo or Ashe? Because that's the main issue. We do not know what the Blizzard devs are thinking when it comes to their balance changes. So, me trying to propose my own can't really do much because of the fact that I'm not part of the Blizzard dev team. I don't have nowhere near the pull to try and make changes for the Blizzard dev team, but that's besides the point. But anywho, if you liked this video and want to see more so like this and the other, or actually just revamps of the bronze review videos for Juno and Hazard, please let me know by leaving a like on this video. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.